Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. All right, one gardener to another gardener. I am going to share with you, if I were going to my local garden center and I was going to shop for some perennials, these are the perennials that I would go ahead and feel very comfortable adding to my July garden. Yes, even in North Carolina. Of course, we are Creekside Nursery here in Dallas, North Carolina, a zone 8A. So these are the fun things that I would add. Also, as a side note, for my folks who are coming to our garden center here in Dallas, all of the perennials are 25% off this week. So this week, running Wednesday through Saturday, everything that is a perennial is at 25% off. Now, we just brought down a great selection of quart size hostas. Now, the reason that I'm focusing on like the quart size is because that smaller container is going to transition really well and very easily into my July garden. There are two ways that I would approach this. One, you can add them to the landscape if you want, but you're going to have to make sure that you're paying nice close attention to them. What I personally would do is add them to a decorative container and add it to my garden where I want it to be. So what am I talking about? Like, for example, right here on the side, we have a hosta that is permanently planted in like a ceramic planter. And you can put them together like with other collections of plants, hellebores. We've got some everillo right there. So go ahead and put it into a container. And then if you want to put it in the landscape come the fall, just pop it out of the container and add it to the landscape. Transitions great, especially hostas. Plant them in the fall, winter. My gosh, they are so cold hardy, they can handle it. Now, these are a little bit on the smaller side as far as the praying hands, but praying hands is a very unique hosta in the fact that it is very upright because it looks like two hands folded like together in prayer, right? Like not folded like curved, but upright. So it's a very upright habit. And then look at cutie patootie, sun mouse. Love these little hostas, these little mini hostas. Sun mouse, now it is a miniature hosta, so it is not going to get much taller than this. It'll get wider. This is such a cutie patootie. This is why we have both the sun mouse and the praying hands in the Creekside Champion line. And then this is a great deal. We have got the Proven Winners hostas in the quart size containers. So we have Sound of Music, which is a lovely like variegated with kind of the yellow and then those blue-green margins. We have got Echo the Sun, which is a nice chartreuse. It'll get big. This is going to be more sun tolerant because it's nice and bright. Then we have Miss America, which is a green and white variegated. She will get big. It's called Miss America because it gets nice and wide. And then we have Hope Springs Eternal, which is that nice dark green with that creamy edge along the side of it. So you've got lots of options here for you to choose from. These are so popular. And then of course we do have some of these in the gallons as well. So even the gallons are going to be that 25% off, and great one. Like Voices in the Wind, look at that. Now, when you come and you see a hosta that maybe the leaves have some holes in them, y'all, it's not necessarily that the bugs are eating them. We are underneath here of the pine trees. Look what happened. So we had a really big storm with wind, and look, the pine needles impaled the leaves. They are perfectly fine. Remember, we are going into the heat of the summer. This is very common that your hosta leaves start to look a little rough. This is the coast to coast. Look at that. Another big, beautiful chartreuse one. We've got, let's see, is that Gigantosaurus? Yeah, look at Gigantosaurus. I think you can kind of understand why it gets its name. They got beautiful hostas, great for the shade garden, love them. And so I absolutely would be adding them to my garden. In fact, I'm going to be practicing what I preach because I have got some of the new, it's one of the new hosta introductions for 2027 from Proven Winners, and we're growing them in quart-sized containers up at the greenhouse. And I'm going to take them and I'm going to put them in a decorative container and add them to the shade garden. So this is a great time to do it, and then come the fall, I'll pop it out. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. If you never know with me. And then add it to the garden, and they're very cold hardy here. So you can absolutely, they can overwinter in containers. I've had hostas in containers for years and they do great. So also the aspidistra, because while we're over here in the shade, let's just go ahead and talk about the shade plants. Aspidistra, the cast iron plants, this is spectacular. Y'all, these are absolutely spectacular specimens. These are 3 gallons. Your cast iron plants are known for that dry shade garden. You know Mimi and her garden really well, and she has cast iron plants all over the place because she is dry shade, not one drop of irrigation. And the cast iron plants, they are amazing in her garden. They hate to be wet, so you truly need to put them in the dry shade, and they are evergreen. So we've got a couple of different, so you got spectacular in the 3 gallon, and then we also have spectacular in like a 1 gallon. I've actually put a spectacular in a container, and I'm gonna leave it in there. It's doing great. You've got tiny tank right here, which is going to be a smaller one. I have tiny tank in a container just over here in just a minute that I can show you in a container. Absolutely can do that. So if you're struggling, because a lot of times shade gardens are synonymous with deer. I'm sorry, my friends. And even rabbits, right? Put them in a container, elevate them, bring them closer to the house in that protected area, and hopefully it will help deter those little critters. So got those, and then thinking about that quart-sized container, because these are great for those containers, and adding them to the landscape. We have got more perennials here that are Creekside champions. We've got the Brunnera. So this is the Alexandria Brunnera. It's gonna be a little bit smaller than like Alexander's Great, but it has those pure silver leaves. Beautiful. It is hairy, so it tends to be rabbit deer resistant. And then we have got tons of different kinds of euchra. We love euchra. We've got Southern Comfort, one of my absolute favorites. All of these can handle our heat and humidity. They will handle it like champions, and they will do great. Put them in containers, put them in the ground. They do like it on the drier side, but also go ahead and think about like your fall containers. These are great. I have some of these euchras in a hay rack at the house. I planted last year and they're still doing great. And then of course there's Pollinator. All of these can be added to the garden now. Just kind of keep an eye on them, of course, and just be aware of that. So that is kind of the shade garden. Now let's go talk about the sun-loving garden, because now is the perfect time to add these hot weather perennials. I'm not gonna miss it. Before we go to those sun perennials, I told you that I was going to show you the aspidistra in a container. So yeah, so here we have a tiny tank in this unique stone, concrete planter. I will leave it here for years and years probably, because it will do well. Doing great there. And then I want to show you one of my hostas. When I talk about hostas going into the containers and leaving them for years, this is the perfect example, because I have had this container has been made and sitting in this exact same spot, y'all, probably 6 or 7 years. It has evolved and changed as far as like how it's structured. The plants are just doing their thing. We literally just water it and prune it at the end of the season. So this is Paul's Glory hosta with a painted fern. I think maybe this is Godzilla. And so there you go. Right, so the hosta and the fern completely intermingling with one another. So you can do this. When I planted this, this is just a a container I had gotten from Sam's, and I mean like years and years ago, y'all. And so it's one of those composite containers. I had when I first planted it, they were all like small 1 gallons. So you had the hosta, the Godzilla. I think I did a small like Japanese painted fern in there as well. And I had some other things, I think. These are the 2 that have survived, and so we leave it, and it is beautiful, and it just welcomes people when you come through into the pines. So there you go. Absolutely can leave hostas in containers for years, as long as your container is nice and big. As we walk over to the full sun area, y'all, we've got Agapanthus. We have got the Southern Living Plant Collection Agapanthus. It too is 25% off. I do not know why Queen Mum is not selling as rapidly as the other ones. Y'all, this thing is awesome. This is for your part sun garden. It's gonna be a 2x2 with those beautiful, let's see, dual colored white and violet blue heads. You're gonna love it. This, like, it is a big one, those big, thick, strapped leaves on it. Bigger, well, I don't know. I do say it is bigger than like the Everwhite right here. So Everwhite, we also have those. They are, some of those, y'all, are going into full bloom. I'm laughing because of the bumblebees with their little hiney's sticking out. Look at that. Is that not about the cutest little thing you ever did see? Oh my word, I got all these little bee butts sticking out in the blooms. So yes, so Agapanthus, really fun, 25% off as well. And then we've got over here, I see we have got the Creekside Champions, we've got Echinaceas, we've got Rudbeckia, we've got Gaillardia, we have my all-time favorite perennial. We have got the Ascot Rainbow. Y'all, these are fantastic for your containers, your fall containers, and the landscape. I love this euphorbia, a spurge. It is kind of soft. It has like a silky, fuzzy feeling. I don't know. It's more for your foliage. It is going to bloom, but it's not really like, they're not spectacular. You want it for the foliage. It is evergreen. It is a fantastic, love this perennial, and it is going to be hardy in zones 5-ish maybe, or 6 to 9. Very, very popular, well-known perennial. Love this guy. And then, y'all, we only have a couple of these left. This is the Agapanthus. This is the Creekside Champions. This is the Peach Pearl Agapanthus. I have this in the umbrella pine bed, and this is going to be that perennial that has blown my mind this year. I love this thing. So Agapanthus, of course, is a great perennial for your full sun, drought tolerant, once established garden. Huge attractor for your pollinators and your butterflies. But what makes the Peach Pearl so unique is that it is short and wide. So typically your Agapanthus is going to be like tall and upright, very columnar habit to it. Not the Peach Pearl. It is going to be like wide and low and covered in flowers that bloom non-stop. Love this. We've got like 2 trays. So we have a little bit less than 20 of them available. You need this plant in your garden. I was just telling Jerry this morning as we were sitting on the porch, and I said that, without a doubt, is my plant that has absolutely blown me away this year with how it has performed in the garden. So speaking of other performers, we have got, these are the ones, I'm telling you, Echinaceas. Echinacea love it hot. They are in their prime right now. So you absolutely can add these to your garden. We also brought down the proven winners. This is the Raised for Days Heliopsis. Look at those cherry yellow double flowers. This is gonna be about 2 feet tall. It is hardy in zones 3 to 9, so very adaptable. And you have those big, beautiful flowers. And they're going to be kind of like they look almost like a zinnia in some aspect, but a great perennial for the garden. It is helpful to deadhead them, kind of like Gaillardia, so you could come in here and just snip off any old blooms. It's not necessary, but it's helpful. So we got Raised for Days and then the Echinacea. Nice selection of Echinacea. We have got the One in a Melon rather. One in a Melon is my favorite because you have these massive cantaloupe colored flowers on it. Of course, pollinators love it, and then if you leave the heads, then your birds will come and eat it as well. So you've got One in a Melon, then you've got the double. This is the double coated butter pecan. Look at that. Is that not the coolest flower? It's just so neat. So love that. Again, if you want to go ahead and deadhead your Echinacea, you can clean it up. It'll keep blooming, but I like to, at a certain point in the summer, to stop deadheading them so that way they can dry. And then, like I said, the birds will come and eat the dried seed heads. We've also got the color-coded Knock 'em Red. So if you like hot colors in your garden, that is a beautiful, deep, deep, rich red. And then we also have the Summer Song Firefinch. Summer Song Firefinch is going to be cool because you're going to get different colors on the plants. You're going to get some pinks, some reds, and some oranges. And we have got the Adobe Orange. Nope, that's Tangerine Dream. So you got Tangerine Dream. So this is what I'm talking about. So these are those older heads, right? So they have already bloomed. So you can cut them if you want to. You've got lots of buds that are coming up, but you can also leave them. And so what's going to happen is the little heads right here, they're kind of pokey. I mean, they don't hurt you. But if you leave them, then they're going to dry and they turn into the seeds and the birds come and eat them. But as this sweet little bumblebee is showing us, Echinacea is a great pollinator attractor, loves it dry, and is a great addition to your full sun garden. So anytime that we're talking about adding plants to your July garden, I don't care where you are, when we're talking about this time of year, hottest part of the year, then you're gonna have to kind of keep an eye on it for the first 2 weeks. I would say at least a minimum of the first 2 weeks. So what does that mean? So we have talked about in the video the other week, last week, about my 5 gardening principles, like how to add plants to your garden, what you're going to be doing with them. You're just going to keep an eye on them and watch them and make sure that they have enough water. That's going to be obviously the biggest key to this, is that they have plenty of water. Adding mulch around them to help insulate the roots, retain that moisture, is absolutely key and imperative. So we have over here, we have a whole table of Echinacea. So that is cool. So you've got lots to choose from. You have got the alliums. So this is the bobblehead. You know, I've been dealing with rabbits in my gardens, and so I've been adding lots of alliums. They're not touching the alliums. Of course, alliums are going to be those onions, those ornamental onions. Beautiful, massive pollinator attractor. So you've got that. Then the bleeding hearts. So this is a really fun, beautiful perennial. This is going to be another Heliopsis, dark foliage, beautiful, like moody orange blooms on it. It does have native roots from North America, so this is a native plant, and it's going to be about 3 feet tall. So you're going to have lots of structure to this guy, beautiful color and variation to it. People who want those full blooms, you want continuous color on your perennials. Sometimes that can be hard because a lot of perennials have a window of time that they bloom. Coreopsis is one of those blooms, those plants rather, the perennial, that will, once it starts blooming, it just keeps on going. So these are the designer threads from Proven Winners. So you've got the creamy calico, which has kind of those yellows and burgundies. Then you have got the golden needles. As you can see, there are pollinators all over this Coreopsis. Just beautiful, those are called designer threads because this is a thread leaf Coreopsis. Very fine foliage on it, but a beautiful kind of low growing mounded habit to it. And then of course your sedums, my gosh y'all, sedums love it hot and dry. Sometimes it can be challenging in our clay soil to keep the sedums nice and happy because if they get too wet, they're not happy at all. So if you've got a dry, sunny garden, then you're gonna wanna add your sedums to that. And they are a late bloomer, so they're starting to put on some buds right now and are going to give gorgeous interest in the garden. This particular one is the Rock and Grow Coral Jade. Such fun plants. We do not want to leave our own line customers out of a good sale. So we have got some annuals for our own line customers, 50% off, my friends. Now these are as is, okay? So we're gonna talk about it, but we have got a couple of different types of annuals on sale. First of all, we have got the scaevolas. These are proven winners. So you've got the stardivas, and so stardiva gets its name because of the bloom. It is shaped like a star. It's not the fan shape, it is that actual star. Scaevolas are amazing. Love the hot sun, gorgeous. In fact, we just added stardiva white to the signature garden around the fountain. So absolutely can plant them now. They make great hanging baskets, containers. They're low, they're going to spill over. So there's the stardiva pink, stardiva white, and then the whirlwind pink and blue. They have more of that fan shaped of the flower. So it's just really kind of the shape of the flower. And personally, I think the whirlwinds are going to be a little longer. They have a big of a stretch of a reach to them. So when you get them, y'all, this is not a leggy plant, right? This is what it's going to look like. We're going to send it to you. Plant it. It's a beautiful plant. It's got a healthy root system. It's going to do great. You're getting it at 50% off. So when we're shipping these plants to you, y'all, all these sales are final because you're getting them at 50% off. For example, this is not a new thing out there in the world. I just ordered a couple of new dresses, right, from one of my favorite stores. And as I was ordering those dresses, guess what it said? All sales final, no returns, no money back. So I take that risk. If the dress does not fit, oh well, then I'm gonna either give it to somebody or something else. So we're not crazy by saying that all sales are final. This is a summer sale, 50% off. Okay, got it. Now over here, let's go, because we have got the supers. And the supers, I'm trying to find the easiest pathway over there. The supers are on sale as well. This is a great example of when we tell you that annuals like to be pruned. Look at that Supertunia Mini Vista Pink Cloud. Y'all, these are beautiful plants. They are strong, they are healthy, they have got a strong root system. So all the supers are on sale. So you can see, right, covered in flowers. Now, let me show you, because this is what you're gonna get. Don't come to me complaining about, oh my gosh, it's got some brown leaves. It's fine, y'all. Plant the thing. I promise. I do it all the time. I practice what I preach. Look, this is fine. You plant it, it is going to bush out. It has got a strong root system. It wants to get out of this pot. So put it in the ground, put it in the container. It is going to flush out and be gorgeous. So all of the Supertunias, so we've got fuchsia, we've got Mini Vista Hot Pink, which I love and adore. You've got a little bit of silverberry, the honey, the pink tiara, Mini Vista Indigo, Mini Vista White, a little bit of hoopla left on that. And then come down here, and this is what our guys are doing right now. They're trimming, so you're gonna see some that they have been pruning. 'Tis the season. Every greenhouse that has annuals, you gotta prune the plants. They can't stay perfect in a container forever and ever, amen. So if you order, who is this? Bermuda Beach, and it comes to you like this, y'all, trust me, it is fine. It is going to flush out and be gorgeous. So you've got Bermuda Beach, and then we have got Super Bells. So we have got gorgeous Super Bells here. You've got white, Holy Moly, Grape Punch, Double Blue, Holy Smokes, Violet Star, and a little bit of the Super Bean of Pink Cashmere. So if it says super in the name, it is going to be 50% off. Keep in mind that our boxes are a 4 count. So they go 4, 8, 12, 16. Fill up the box. It makes sense. So your shipping is going to be the same, right? So if it's a 4, if you get 1 versus 4, fill the box. You do not need a code. They're already going to be marked 50% off for you. You will see that on the page. So when you go to Super Bells White, it's going to have it at, I think, $6 compared to $11.99. So no code needed. Add them into your cart. We will ship them to you. Add them to your garden, and they're going to be gorgeous. 'Tis the season for garden center deals, whether you're shopping online or at the garden center. I'll also say the garden center, it was, I forgot to say that all the annuals, they too are 50% off. So if it's an annual, 50% off. All perennials, including perennial hibiscus, are 25% off. So there you go, my friends. Happy shopping. It's a great time to get some great deals, especially if you have a long growing season. Add them to, you're gonna get the most bang for your buck. As always, hope you have found it fun, informative, inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day. We'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.